All right, guys, welcome back to Ill Blurmatic, guys. We are back with one of the person I collaborate pretty much the most with on this channel so far, Bump Jonas. What's up, man? How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, going, man? Appreciate you having me.
Yeah.
Everything's going good, man. Chilling,
All right. Yeah.
enjoying life, listening to music. Man,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this assignment was fun. You always give me good,
Yeah.
good content to work on. So yeah,
You
love it.
too, man. With the questions, I'd be like, Bump, you have some questions. I gotta think. Like, hold on, let me think about this. So today we're gonna be talking about Drake, Kendrick, and J.Cole, and pretty much their contributes to the hip hop game and their achievements and some of the things that I found interesting as an artist. Well, interesting for them as an artist and stuff. And also things that I found a little surprising because they all kind of assigned to their people that are their mentors too. So the first thing I want to ask, and this is something that's very interesting. How did you either discover this artist or did someone put you on to this artist? These
Ooh,
three artists, I should say.
okay, that's a good question. Drake,
Mm-hmm.
I discovered. I'm gonna be honest. I think I discovered him through like BET or MTV,
Okay.
the best you ever had video.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that
That's
video.
how I came across Drake.
Okay.
Um, J. Cole. J. Cole is my son. My son, Savvy. He's actually
Mm-hmm.
an artist himself.
Okay.
Um, he introduced me to J. Cole.
Okay.
Probably the whatever the it's probably the Forest Hills Drive mixtape or tape where he's on the roof or something like
Yeah,
that.
the album. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, album.
Yeah.
I always say mixtape and I always get corrected as an album. Thank you.
It's cool, man. It's cool.
But let's see, and then with Kendrick. Okay, so Kendrick,
Mm-hmm.
it was crazy because I found Kendrick through Gunplay.
Oh
Um,
wow.
I was listening to the
Cartoons
Black,
of Cereal.
the yes car. So um I was listening to the Black Bar Mitzvah mixtape by
Okay.
Rick Ross, and I heard Gunplay. I was like, yo, this
Okay.
guy is dope. So then I start looking him up, and then I hear cartoons and cereal. I'm like, oh shit. And then next thing I know, my son is playing Good Kid, Mad City. I'm like, yo, boom. So
Right.
that's how I got them. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I discovered Kendrick thanks to my coworker. At the time, I was kind of like anti-radio for a little bit because all they were playing were the same artists in rotation. He put me onto this website called Live Mixtapes where you can find like the new upcoming artists, underground indie artists. And I came across Kendrick on a track with this guy called SB from your state, Kansas, on a song called Test Bus Stuff. I'm like, yo, who is this guy? I'm
What was the artist name?
like, SB.
Oh yeah, XV.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yeah.
yeah. So I heard the Test Bus song. I'm like, yo, this dude is nice. Like, I was like, his cadence, his delivery. I was like, okay, I like SB, but I'm gonna check out some more of Kendrick's stuff. And I came across like his stuff on like live mixtapes, the indie section, and it showed like what I'm saying all the projects that he had that were like mixtapes. It had like Training Day that was like inspired by the Denzel Washington movie. It had pretty much Overly Dedicated, the Kendrick Lamar LP. And after that, I was just like, yo, this guy is, even though at the time he wasn't mainstream just yet, I'm like, this guy's nice. Like, he's probably going to be the next person from Cali to kind of blow up at the time. Because at the time, Kendrick was still indie or underground, as you could call it. With J. Cole, my coworker introduced me to him. Like, he's like, yo, check out this guy called J. Cole. And it was on a song called, I think it was A Star Was Born with him and Wale. And I was like,
Oh,
yo, I was like, this guy's nice, man. And after that, I started to check out his other projects like the Warm Up, the Come Up, and even he had like an unreleased project before he signed to Jay-Z that he finally released. That was really good. I was like, yo, J. Cole, this dude is nice. He wasn't as lyrical as Kendrick, but you could tell that he had the potential. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
There was a difference in how they
Yeah.
approached the lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and with Drake, I came across Drake. I was with my friend. We went to go see Batman, The Dark Knight. And I was like,
Okay.
yo, who's this guy? He sounds like Lil Wayne a little bit. You could tell that Lil Wayne was his influence. he's like, oh, that's Drake. I said, oh, okay, bet. Like, and then eventually I started to like check out Drake's other stuff, like Room for Improvement. You know what I'm saying? What is it? Get So Far Gone, and there was like one other project, and I said, yo,
Marvin's
this,
Room. That seems to
yeah,
be a
yeah,
big Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. Those are
yeah.
big, big ones.
Yep. So that's how I came across those artists. I said, boy, I said, man, live mixtapes definitely is still around and kicking and pushing. So I'm glad of that. Yeah. So do you have a question for me, Bob?
I was gonna ask. I had one and then I lost it, but I will. It was gonna be what
Okay.
drew you with Drake, because
Mm-hmm.
Drake is so different in style. Even
Yeah.
when he first came out, his
Yeah.
format and how he presented was so different from, say, a J.Cole or even a Kendrick. So
Okay.
from you, what drew you to him?
I think with Drake, because he did the singing and the rapping, I was like, okay, this is like, I know other people do it, but it's like, this guy's kind of got something going on here. Like, it seems like he's like equal with it. He can do the singing, he can do the
Okay,
rapping, and it's
okay.
like, okay, this is different, but it works. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this is gonna separate him from his peers in a way where he's in a lane of his own. And I said, this the guy might be the next big thing, because I remember at the time, you know, he was about to sign Young Money and everything. And I was like, man, that's crazy that Wayne actually picked him up. And and it's crazy because when you think about it, Drake probably was the best artist on Young Money besides Wayne. Like, don't get me wrong, Nicki was okay, but Drake had that consistency like Wayne. So that was something that I saw like early on. I'm like, this dude's just
Well, when
knocking
Nicki
out
came
people.
out, I don't know that people were directly ready for that
Yeah,
much of a feminine, like in your face female artist, right? You know what I'm
right.
saying? So there was a
Yeah,
different, and she wasn't directly aligned with Young Money right away when she came out. I mean, like she was doing
true.
her thing, and then because there was that whole Deb Antony
Yeah, yeah, Gucci
scenario
Man.
before. So uh
Yeah,
that Young Money thing was more of like a, I looked at it more of like a reintroduction of Nicki to the
okay,
scenario, or maybe the
okay.
like the next level, like, oh, this is her step up, right?
Right.
Whereas Drake was like, boom. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, Wayne went to prison and handed the keys to Drake. Say, yo, this is my man's until I'm
Man.
gone, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. He really did. He really took it over with that, man. It's
I
like,
wanted
wow,
to,
that
I wanted to ask you about Friday Night Lights. Was
okay.
was was J. Cole signed? Was he, because you had mentioned that he had mixtapes prior
Right.
to linking with Rock Nation and Jay-Z, right? So
Right.
what body of work is the first one that he starts to release when he starts
Uh
to work with Jay-Z? Is it Friday Night Lights? Is that series, or after
yeah,
and before?
Friday Night's Lights series is when he first linked up with Jay-Z, because he had that
Okay.
song Looking for Trouble with Pusha T, Big Shine, Shy High the
Okay.
Prince. Man, that was a vicious song, man. I you know what? That project stood out with me because I remember hearing it, and I remember because me and my coworker, we like music heads, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So
So
y'all trading back and
um
forth.
we talked about the project and everything. I said, yo, this is crazy. Like it was a mixtape, but it had a theme to it. And I think that's something I really did respect about Jay. Cause like, it ain't not just with his albums, he has themes, he has mixtapes with themes. So you like, oh, okay, he got a theme with it. He's talking about different things going on. And I thought that mixtape was well thought of, man. I mean, him being a producer rapper, and Kendrick and Drake, they not super producer rapper or anything like
Not at
that.
all, right?
But it was well executed, man. I mean, I think that mixtape kind of cemented J. Cole like before his debut album came out, Sideline Story. People geared more towards him because, like, okay, we checked out the warm up, we checked out the come up, but this right here
This is the one.
cemented him. Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, go ahead. I thought I had another question, but I didn't. But go ahead.
Okay, so my next question is this was interesting, but this is a little different, but it still deals with them all together. Okay, so remember they had the freshman list for the rappers, right?
Right.
So we know that J. Cole was on the 2010 cover. We know Kendrick was on the 2011 cover. Now I know Drake turned down the
Yeah.
actual
He was never on the cover, right?
Yeah, he was never on the cover. So, which class do you think Drake would have fit in? The 2010 class with J. Cole or the 2011 with Kendrick?
I'm gonna say they
Okay.
would have probably fit him in more with the Cole.
Okay. I can see that. I can
Only
definitely see that.
because only
Hmm.
because Cole, all of them have a melodic aspect to their styles. And that was a point that I wanted to I had written down. They all
Okay.
three brought a very distinctive melodic aspect to the game, but Drake
Hmm.
and Cole probably have the more similar approach to the melodies,
Right.
whereas Kendrick is way more artistic. He probably can't hit the notes like they can, so he goes at it a
Right.
different way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, so I think from that angle, it would just be easy to dump to dump the light skins together. Now,
Okay.
from a
Yeah.
from a PR standpoint, they
Right.
probably like if I was somebody's manager, I'd be like, nah, get your ass over there with Kendrick because you it's too much competition with these two. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I could definitely see you saying that because you gotta and on that cover, Wiz was on there too. You had Wiz, Wale, Nipsey Hussle. So yeah, I could definitely
yeah,
see.
see, that's
Yeah,
where you want Drake. You want him in that, especially because he was trying
yeah,
to come out on some, not trying
yeah.
to like. For me, again, the first joint that I heard was the best I
Hmm.
ever had, and so it
Right,
was a very hip hop, boom bappy, but still got that 2000 kind of bop vibe.
vibe
So
to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so he needs to, especially coming off being aligned with Young Money, being like,
Hmm.
"Yo, here's the keys while I'm gone." You got to
Right.
situate them in a place where it's not it's a little bit more edge, a little more rough around the edge. So yeah, you put them with Nipsey, you put them with J. Cole. You yeah,
Right.
you got to put them there. Not with Kendrick. You're fighting too much with artistry. You
That's true. That'd have been an awkward cover. Like, wait, like, got a singing dude? Everybody else
know?
rappers? It's funny because YG's on that cover, Big Crit, so it's other heavy hitter MCs. So it would have been like very strange.
Somebody be like,
Yeah.
"Who put this mixtape together?" No, don't do that.
Yeah, so that's good, man. You know what? I agree with you, but I think the freshman cover would have been suited better for Drake with J. Cole and Wale and all of them. Because like you said, a lot of them do the singing rap and stuff like that, or have a melodic sound to them. So yeah, definitely. Because I think, like you said before, Kendrick's freshman cover, the 2011, it has some lyricists on there, except for OJ the Juice Man.
Hey,
Right.
I'm weak.
Half a week. I said, man, this man is wild.
Bro, who told your grown man ass to start squealing on the mic? Man, get out of here. I'm good. I'm good,
I
son.
can't help. Oh man, yeah. I gotta agree with you on that. I was like, yeah, that'd have been an awkward little like they got the singing dude, then they got the trap dude.
So, okay,
Yeah.
here's a question I have. It's
Okay.
something that I noticed, and I don't necessarily know that I'm not gonna necessarily say it's an impact. They had an impact on it because there was artists way before them doing this, right? Like Keith
Okay.
Murray, Obi Trice, but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
all three of these artists were extremely impactful and probably going to get the legend status. They all use their real names or some
Yeah.
equivalent. You know what I mean? It's not like
Yeah.
Master Ace or Jeru the Damager or Bump Jonas. Like, nah,
Right.
Kendrick Lamar, like
Yeah.
Drake,
Right.
which is, I
Yeah.
don't know. But I just think that's interesting. How does that, I guess my question is, how does that make you feel? Do you, is it a trend that you like where artists are using their names, or do you prefer nicknames? Which way does it go for you?
Ooh, that's a good one, Bub.
John Connor, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
a that's a really good question. I think it's clever because the way J. Cole uses it is like you got J. Cole, you got the J. Cole. So you kind of know, like, all right, he's really using his real name. I think with Drake, I think is that Drake's middle name?
Yeah, it's like Aubrey Drake
Yeah,
Graham,
yeah.
something
So
like that.
it's really cool when artists use their real name. It seems like they're very comfortable when they use their real name. Even with Kendrick Lamar, it's like, it shows you that they are okay with the real name being out there. It's like, okay, well, y'all know that this is my real name or my middle name or whatever it is. And the other thing is, I guess they had their personas because you got to realize, I don't know if you remember J.Cole before he became J.Cole, he was the therapist. He used to call his rap name was the therapist. And it
Oh,
was kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, you know what? This old name not bad, but I like that he uses his real name. I can't lie.
hey man, look, you.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it in the wrong way and jeopardize the live, but the therapist can go a whole lot of ways if you get into a battle situation. So
Right.
I'm glad he switched that up. Just say it.
Right. Like you're gonna be sitting on the couch.
Yes.
Yeah, so what did you want to do today? What's been going on in your life?
Oh, that's a PR flame waiting to happen. No, takes the day.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he had to change it. I think he probably realized like that's not gonna work. Like, could you just imagine a war ceremony, war winner, the therapist? And you're like, bruh,
Nah,
you can't change your name, your
nah.
rap name.
Well, something I think is dope is just
Yeah,
a funny quirk to me is that
yeah,
these artists that use they real names, they don't have
yeah.
the check gets signed to them. It's not like, oh, writing a check to the game. No, you writing it to motherfucking Kendrick Lamar. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I love that shit. I ain't gotta show no extra ID now, motherfucker.
Right. What's going on, Bracelets Aries? What's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. So I think it just gives a certain integrity and just them being comfortable with using their real names. And I guess it works because I mean there are some rappers, and I hate to say this, I like rappers that use like personas and stuff, and I like the ones that use their real names. Like I think about Lupe Fiasco. That's not his real name, but hey, it's dope.
Well, maybe it's the two-part name thing, right? Because
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it gives us like this actual person kind of vibe. Okay, like
yeah.
Clark Kent, Superman. Okay, I'll fuck with it.
Right. Good analogy right there, man.
So okay, I know
Yeah.
I know I go on a run on questions. I'm gonna pause and let you go, but I do got one question though. We were
Okay.
talking about melodies or melodic, and
Hmm.
how like okay, we know from my perspective, J. Cole and Drake have very similar
Yeah.
approaches to
Right.
melodies, right? And then you
Right.
have Kendrick. So my question to you is what's been the impact that they've had when it comes to melodies from your perspective on hip hop?
Okay, so with J. Cole, I guess he's become a little bit more experimental with this thing. I know he did that track, that was a diss to No Name, and you hear him at the very end, like singing his heart out. I was like, wait, J. Cole singing like this? But it was dope though. Like I couldn't even be mad. I was like, you know what? I like that he tried to like stretch himself out there into the singing arena. But the first part of the track was more hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So you could tell that maybe Drake may have influenced him to like, hey man, you might want to sing on some of your tracks and stuff like
Mm.
that and make it sound better. With Drake, he sometimes he just has this melody like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just like the way he kind of puts it out there, it's like, man, like yeah, da, 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 you're like,
Bro, Drake shit is terrible. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Drake singing is like really bad shower singing. That's my opinion, bro. That's my hot take. Oh,
it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not the best singing in the world where it's like, oh man, that was wonderful, but he's kind of got like a catchy vibe to it, the way he kind of throws certain syllables and stuff with it.
when he's on
Uh,
beat, sometimes that
yeah,
should be off beat, bro. Like,
it
baby,
do.
baby, like, come on, man. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I talk shit.
But yeah, man, I think with Kendrick, he's very animated with his cadence. Like I don't know if you remember the song, was it Face Off with him and Future? He's melodic, but he's animated with. He's like a Jim Carrey. He comes into like character when he does stuff like that. And I was like, yo, this works.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the acting aspect where he's able to like really like present and project emotions and feelings and like that's a tone quality too in hip hop or in music, but the way that he's able to like say a thing in a way that it almost becomes a meme in how he says it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Can nobody else be like key or like the way he did it is so I feel what you're saying. Definitely good.
He's very animated with this. Like, man, like this dude's like the Jim Carrey of rap a little bit. Like he's very artsy with it, you know what I'm saying? Very in our approach where you like, how Kendrick gonna tackle it?
So okay, speaking of what is talk to me about Kendrick's melodic approach, man. Cause
Kendrick's I don't know, man. The way it's like he structures his music. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I like about Kendrick's music. Like it structures. He's got rhythms, certain like aspects to it and everything. And it's really cool the approach he goes by. Like you'll hear him on songs. Like there's some of the songs he's done with Baby Keem, his cousin. It's very interesting because you can see like it's kind of like him getting into character. Like you see, he's a very artsy type of rapper. He's not like J.Cole or Drake when it comes to it. You know what I'm saying? So in that way, it's like, man, this is different, but it works. You know what I'm saying? He said Drake a whole cartoon character. That's a good one, Aries. Yeah, so that's the most interesting thing about it. But my question I got for you, Bump, is when it comes to these three artists, and I'm gonna talk about mixtapes. I don't know if you listen to the mixtapes or not, but hopefully you listen to. Who was the person that you kind of enjoyed their mixtapes the most out of the three or the two?
So, that's a good question.
Okay.
On two parts is a good question because I recognize the mixtape era.
Okay.
But I didn't really partake in it in that sense, right? I just listened to the songs that were out there and I could never be bothered to care if it came from the album or the mixtape because at some point I just realized motherfuckers was just throwing singles and they didn't give a shit, or they was like you drop a mixtape or drop an album and I couldn't tell the difference at one point. And I know this is a long answer, but at one point mixtapes was better than they were as good or better than albums. So I stopped like differentiating. Okay. In that sense, I recognize like Wayne was a mixtape king. 50 crazy. So there was a definite mixtape era, and it still happens today in a different sense. So who would I listen to more? I don't know if Drake even had one. And I probably would not have listened to his mixtapes, to be honest. Because I just imagine there was too much of that early MySpace melodic trying to figure out where it wasn't for me.
All right.
I'm gonna say the one that drew me in the most was more Kendrick than Cole. As far as that early music, let's say early music, not because I'm not gonna know if it's a mixtape or not.
I respect it.
The Kendrick Cole is very rappy, very lyrical, very trying to show the technicalities of what he can do. Like, yo, I got this. Not saying Kendrick wasn't doing the same, but you could always see that artistic element. You could always see those different characters that he was getting into. So it just Cartoon and Serial was my introduction to Kendrick. So it was like, oh, motherfucker was already going crazy. So yeah, that one of the two, which one would I prefer on a mixtape level? Definitely Kendrick.
Okay. So I would definitely have to say Kendrick for sure. To me, Kendrick, and it's like how you said, mixtapes at that time were like albums because they had themes, and intro, outro, interludes,
skits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true. Kendrick definitely was. I remember when I first listened to Overly Dedicated, And I was like, man, this doesn't even seem like a mixtape. It feels like a freaking album. I'm thinking like when I went on live mixtapes, I'm like, man, is y'all capping or what? Like, this is an album. This is not a mixtape. Stop lying to me. And that's how I felt about the Kendrick Lamar LP. It was like the same thing. It was like, okay, he's putting out mixtapes, but they have themes to them. They have intro, outro, even the training day, the dedication to Lil Wayne, the C4 mixtape. I think it's called Compton for Life. I think that was abbreviated for it.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was like he was having actual themes. I'm like, is this what a mixtape is now? I remember when Wayne just rapping over beats. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, he's a different type of rapper.
Well, and I'll be honest, even though I come from the South, or I identify with the South, I love West Coast music. I love West Coast hip hop. So hearing Kendrick again, I'm gonna go back to Cartoon and Serial. Hearing Gunplay go off with that gangster shit, that pimp shit, and then you got Kendrick coming in with this, almost very storytell version of child life in the hood. That shit resonates. And I'm not. J.Cole was telling me about college and shit like that. So it was like, I get it, I like it, but I like this more. So.
Okay. And then with J.Cole, for me, it was college. Like I couldn't relate. I could relate to it because at that time I was in college. I'm like, well, I like this guy. I can relate to it. I'm in college too, trying to figure out.
So then, how do you still end up with Kendrick? And like you say, you kind of would go with Kendrick on a mixtape. If J. Cole has a college relation for you, what's the draw to Kendrick over Cole?
Well, with Kendrick, it was more so just the storytelling. And with J. Cole, it was like the college struggle, you know what I'm saying? Going to class, you got to figure out what's going on with your life. And he even had a song that didn't even make one of his mixtapes, I'm a Fool. It's the CeeLo song, but he flipped it. It's like a song about him almost not graduating from college. And, I was like, yo, this is sick. Like, this dude is talking about this in a song, like the doubt, the fear, worried about, like, if I don't graduate, what's gonna happen? Is mama gonna be mad at me? You know what I'm saying? Am I a fool?
I couldn't relate. Like I appreciate what he says and how he says it, and I think I immediately recognize it as, yo, this is a dope lane, and I like what he's doing. But again, he came out at a time with Kendrick, so it was like, I'm over here. Like I like you. I'm gonna keep listening, keep doing your thing, but
and like you said, that's kind of the thing with J. Cole. He kind of grew on you over time, you know what I'm saying? So that's something that happened. And with Drake, I don't know, man. He sounded like his early mixtape stuff sounded like Kanye a little bit, just the sound wise for it a little bit. But some nice features on there. Yeah, Pusha T on there, Lupe Fiasco. He had who else was on there? Robin Thicke on some of his earlier stuff.
He was crazy. I think his verses were way more lyrical, or had more of a boom bap effect going on, as opposed to now he started to get more modernized, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a little bit more modern. Yeah, man. Let's see what the comments say. Ari said, that's how you know an artist cares about storytelling and rap, when they add skits and even a mixtape. Yeah, that's true. Facts. And what's up, Back to the Lab?
Hey, yo, what's up?
Welcome.
Peace. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you though.
Okay.
Of the three artists, which one do you think is more autobiographical?
Woo, that's the good one. Hey, Kiwi. The most, I would have to say, man, it's between J. Cole and Kendrick, man. They've had some rough upbringings, man.
we didn't learn about Drake through the beef. Shout out to Pusha T.
Yeah, they had a rough upbringings. You know what I'm saying? I think with J. Cole, he talks about on his albums and stuff like that. Kendrick talked about on his mixtapes too, some of the things he went through. But yeah, I would have to say those two.
I would definitely say the same. They're more I think I'm gonna be dead ass, and I'm not trying to be like picky on Drake, but I feel like his shit is shallow and superficial when it comes to being vulnerable. Like it's aimed at it's that toxic lover boy shit. It's always been there, you know, it's just a thing. Whereas like, you know, clearly, even before we got to Mr. Morale and the Hot Steppers, Kendrick was already letting us see like his vulnerability, his good, his bad, his ego, and J. Cole. Like honestly, that is J. Cole. And again, I don't mean this in a bad way, but that's his stick. That is his. That's what he does. His essence of his music is being lyrical and being vulnerable. That's like, look at how he handled the No Name thing, or the what was that goofy ass rapper that was tripping on him in Miami?
You talking about what is the dude's name?
The little Pump motherfucker. Yeah, he was, you know, like he was just like, hey, all right, bro, middle child, boom, shut the fuck up.
Right. True. That's definitely true, man. Very true. Okay, yeah, she's okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the comments. J. Cole, KOD was almost yeah, it was Aries Fast. That's one thing I like about J. Cole's albums. Aries is more like his albums and even mixtapes, they all fit in. Like you got certain albums and it's like a timeline. So definitely Aries, you're absolutely right with the mixtapes and albums. J. Cole, you could go, and even Kendrick as well with his albums, you can tell like this happened during this time and everything. So yeah, man, definitely. Believe it or not.
Yeah, because if you're listening to Drake, it just sounds like one long ass breakup. Like
he's the relationship rapper if you really think about it. I mean, and the ladies.
Yo, he's the therapist for real.
Yeah, he be giving hints off like, hey, don't do this. But you know what? One thing I can say about Drake, even though it may not be something that he should be proud of, I mean, he had a whole album dedicated to Rihanna. I forgot what album it was, but yeah, I was like, man, that man, he was really trying to win her heart over. Yeah, he had love for her, boy.
He's doing everything he could at that. I ain't mad at it.
So my next question, this is gonna be interesting, Bump. This one right here. So remember when the Control verse came out? How did you feel about it? And did you think Kendrick was wrong for calling out his peers, or was he right about it?
The motherfucker was 100% right. I was so happy to have that shit. Like I don't. You know how like some people would be like, "Yo, we bring that old feeling back." I would, let's go, motherfucker. I loved how he did it. I love how he like. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it felt like it just like purposely set shit up or pissed some of the wrong or right people off. I just liked the way he played it. It was so masterful. It was slick. I also, and that's interesting. I brought that up. I had this down because I think really what's important for me there's something else that happened was I listen to songs, but I don't get stuck on the verses as much. I just enjoy the song, and like I'm not gonna be able to quote it back to you. You know what I'm saying? That's from my man Back to the Lab and Chop It Up. They will go verse for verse, lyric for lyric.
Right.
I'm more of a shower verse guy. I hear it like, oh yeah, I know that song. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This motherfucking this song, I was listening to it over and over and over. Now, can I quote it now? No, but I want to do. I gotta hear that again and again, bro. But and so I will say this though, that motherfucking verse, that entire song, but especially that verse, it changed the way beef happened in a bit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It brought. That's why I loved it so much because we still deal with it, but we was coming off weird, unnecessary internet beef, and then all of a sudden, like, nah, this is real battle hip hop beef.
Right.
Like, nah, bring it. So, yeah, I get excited. You see, that's my shit. I fuck with it.
So for me, I was happy that it happened, to be honest. And you know what? Hip hop is a competitive genre. Like, we got to be honest about it. It's very competitive. We've always seen the greats kind of compete with one another, whether it's Nas and Jay-Z and all these other greats and stuff like that that had their beefs. It was more personal because he called out J. Cole, man. He put his government name out there, Jermaine. I said, yo, this man, wow, this supposed to be your best friend. Man, put his whole government on there. Jermaine Cole, Big Crit, Meek
He
Mill.
said that shit rhymed, bro. It just rhymed. That's all. It just worked with.
And the thing was, he even put J Electronica out there, Big Sean. I think Big Sean felt some type of way. He's like,
yo, okay, hold on. I know I was talking a lot, so I'm just gonna ask this question and you get back to what you said.
Okay.
First of all, how you get sunned on your own shit? And second of all, Kendrick named off so many other motherfuckers, and yet the two niggas that was on the fucking song still got they got the worst of the beef. God has never recovered, and J Electronica just got washed from the whole fucking thing. So,
that's true. That is true, man. Hey, bro, what's going on? What's up, Cajun, man? Yeah, it was wild, man. Like he threw them under the bus. Like, dang, bro, this is a feature. Like how you out here name dropping the features that's on the song?
I would never rap with that nigga again. No, I'm playing, but nah, we gonna check every. You're not finna set me up again, boy.
Right. But you know what? I loved it because it did help J. Cole get better as an artist. I think you know, and even J. Cole did reply to it. To be honest, with TKO, the Justin Timberlake song that came out. And, you know, you could tell he was a little hurt. Like, I didn't think my best friend was going to come at me like that. But, like, bro, he just trying to help you get your music out there better. You know what I'm saying? So it did help J. Cole. It helped Drake, too, as well, believe it or not. And I think it was needed for it to happen because maybe he felt like, yo, yeah, I love you guys. Y'all my peers and everything. But, hey, man, it's a competition. I'm number one. And y'all need to get y'all act together. And I know for me, man, I was at work arguing with people about it, bro. I remember when the verse came out, people like, nah, Weston. I said, nah, Kendrick killed him, yeah. Like, yeah, Big Sean had the second best verse on the song. J Electronica, it was all right.
They had the right energy, but the words didn't hit. That's
yeah.
You know, J Electronica is a different story. That's a whole tangent in itself, man. Because it's, you know, that
Right.
should have been way more impactful for him than it was.
Yeah, so I think it did ruffle feathers, like you said, because I think it helped artists see, like, yo, maybe we need to step our craft up a bit, get better. And we saw that with J. Cole. J. Cole, he started to progress throughout his projects. You can see he was getting more lyrical. There was a year where we saw nothing but hot J. Cole features, you know what I'm saying, per year. And I'm like, oh my God, like this Kendrick verse pretty much was the start of it, if you really think about it. It's like, hey,
he lit fire in motherfucking, bro. He lit fire, bro. Right?
Right, even Drake was hurt, man.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
We got a lot more to talk about, but I promise you, I'm gonna say it right now. That Control song, that Control verse, had one of the biggest impacts of this current era of hip hop, if not the biggest impact, because it changed a lot. It put fire in a lot of motherfuckers, bro.
Right. Yeah, I know. And it's funny because some of those people did respond. Oh, Big Crit did. I don't think Mac Miller did, but Big Crit did respond to it. And his response was nice. I'm not gonna lie. I was sitting there like, you know what? I respect Big Crit. He did. He came with this beat. I forgot it was it had like a Christmas feel to it. Mount Olympus. I was like, he was going.
I'm telling you, motherfuckers got a brand new pen when they hit. They should be. They need to send him some Christmas gifts or post something, bro. Let them up.
Like, thank you, Kendrick. We appreciate you. Yeah, J Electronica killed his momentum, man. Yeah, it did. Aries fast. It really did kill it, man. I'm just kicking it at the moment, cooking it up another video, man. That's what's up, Cajun, man. Yeah, man. But yeah, definitely, man. I think Control was needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like I said, they were all acting like they were the best of friends. I mean, I get it. J. Cole is cool with Kendrick, Wale, and all them. And like I said, it's a competitive genre. But I guess Kendrick said, hey, look, man, we got to put this be close friends or best friends behind us and really put out some good music. You know what I'm
said
saying?
we can hang out, but I ain't friends with none of you niggas. Tell it, bro.
Yeah. So yeah. So what's your next question, Bump?
Well, I was gonna ask, what do you think about the mystique that each of these artists have created for themselves?
Ooh.
You know, like how would you describe it? I mean, we can really carve out that, right? Like how would you describe it? How did they create it?
Okay.
Does it still hold up? Have they kept the
Well,
mystique?
I would say for Kendrick, definitely. A lot of people were anticipating when Kendrick's coming. I remember I did a video on it last year, and I'm like, yo, he's coming soon. And it was like everyone was wondering, like Kendrick was like the avatar, pretty much. Like, where is this man? It's like the last Airbender. So
He's
eventually
searching
we
for him
saw
like
him,
Sasuke.
or Sasuke, pretty much. And you're like, oh, he's coming, but he had that mysterious allure, so he doesn't have to drop as much music like a Drake. You know, Drake is constantly putting out music. Props to Drake for doing that, but Kendrick is not gonna do that. And that's one thing about Kendrick. He's kind of private about certain things, but it works. You know what I'm saying? Like we all know when Kendrick's gonna drop. Once a Heart series comes out, a Heart song, the Heart song part 1, part 2, part 3, whichever Heart it is, you're like, all right, Kendrick dropping soon. Is he dropping another Heart song? But with J. Cole, I love that J. Cole uses social media. So when J. Cole drops, he gets rid of all his pictures. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, he must be dropping the album.
Oh.
And then the thing is with J. Cole, I don't know if you remember back in the day, that like when J. Cole about to drop an album, he look all around, they had the picture.
Yeah, that's how I know, like, oh, that's the trigger. And I noticed they all have a habit of how they present of the rollouts about to start. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love it. It's a bit of branding. It's almost a little behavioral science to like have Lovian the shit out of us a bit, like what's coming, you know what I mean? But I fuck with it. It's definitely go ahead.
Yeah, but I think with Drake, the last album he put out. I like that he did, like, say for instance, you did a feature with them. The feature, whatever city they were from, the billboard was up. I thought that was really cool. That was something I never seen a rapper do, where it's like, yo, you got your, the song. They ain't saying the name of the song, but the features, billboards, whatever city or country they're in. I thought that was really cool. I was like, Drake, I would have never thought nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
Man, see, I think that's dope. I think that's dope. I had this thought, and I don't know if I wrote it down, but I think it's something that's interesting that Drake does that in a way is similar to something Jay-Z does or has done. So you think about State Property and some of the artists that came up under Jay-Z, Freeway, O'Malley, or not O'Malley, but there's a different artist or Beans, right? And a lot of times it's not like a lot of times there was this idea that Jay-Z was stealing some of the artistry or some of the energy from those artists, right? Like using their style. There's the whole Jay-Z Biggie transition, right? What I think Drake does, and you made me think of it when you say when he's with artists in that town, he will find an artist in a genre or in an area, and he doesn't like steal their style, but he gets that photo bomb type of scenario, right? He does the song with them. And then the energy of that song happens to be the new style that he's moving into.
Right.
So it's very, very, like almost appropriation, but not quite. Is he?
Yeah, it's not.
No. But it is a very slick way of introducing this new artist, this new style, and still like an homage back to that area. So it's just I don't know. It was a thought that I had going in, and you made me think about it. So I appreciate
that is a unique way to look at it, because when you think about it, there was a meme that came out like I want to say 2013 or 14, where they had international Drake, and you see Drake with dreads. Somebody put Drake with dreads like, oh, UK Drake, we got Island Drake, we got Afrobeat Drake. And I'm like,
Drake is a Mr. Potato Head and shit. Like, no, I'm playing. I don't hate Drake, y'all. I don't. I just be talking shit.
Yeah, it was just weird that they used that, and it was like it's funny at the same time, but it's like I get it. Like you said, Drake is kind of like making it his own entirety to some degree. You know what I'm saying? Even with the UK scene, he's doing UK stuff, and you got the one guy that's like the UK 50 Cent over there. He's like pop 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 pop. And you're like, oh okay, like, this is different, but I get it.
That is like, yo, yeah, Skepta or whatever. Like, man, I
Yeah,
don't know.
Skepta.
Drake's the greatest chameleon, bro. He's the greatest chameleon. He flows any fucking.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely a chameleon in hip hop. My next question has something to do with their mentors. So, what I want to ask you is, who do you think between Kendrick, J. Cole, and Kendrick, who you think had the best mentor, or was the most how can I put it, the most appreciative of their artistry, I should say?
Oh man, that's a good one. Because that's actually something I wanted to talk about, how they each are aligned with a legend in some kind of way.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, you know who is most appreciative of their mentor? I'm gonna actually say Drake.
Okay.
And I know I've been picking on him, and so it's not like, I know it's not like, oh, obligatory, I got to give him some love. No, I think when it really comes down to it, Kendrick's mentors, he started off aligned with Dre and moved from there to TDE. And I think TDE was always in the picture, but Dre was the one that like brought him to the scene.
Right.
I'm not saying that he's never been appreciative, but he's always been very much, I'm a team player, but I'm a star on this.
Right. You know on this team, yeah.
Yeah, so respect my team, respect me on this team, and he always let you know what his value and worth was. So, and I'm not saying like, oh, you got to be super depreciating. It's just like,
right.
Compare that to Drake and how he openly took the keys from Wayne when they Miss Me When I'm Gone. The way he started riding for Young Money, the alignment of how he does it. Look at how Wayne and Cash Money put on and rep for New Orleans so hard. And then you compare that to how Drake does for Toronto and Houston.
And Memphis.
Yeah. And Memphis is very much the same, right? He replicates that same energy. The way that he mentors and let's say grooms or ARs his artists, regardless, like, okay, you know, McConan was an accident, whatever. But, but the way he approaches his artists is very similar to Wayne. So when it comes to appreciating and like really absorbing the mentorship, I would say Drake. Because and I'll pick on Cole last. Cole almost tried to hide the fact, you know, that he downplayed the fact that he was a Rock Nation or a Jay-Z signee. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, for good reason. You know,
for good reasons though. Yeah, I can see why. I could definitely see why. Yeah,
but he definitely, you know, tried to like, nah, you know what I mean? That's cool, but like,
that's my boss, but and my mentor, I get it, right?
So yeah, for me, Drake was really the one that worked the best. He worked it the best. He made it work for him. He learned from it and then like expounded on it and took it to another level.
I would definitely say Drake. I gotta agree with you on this one, but I definitely say Drake first, because the thing was Drake was the ship that ran Young Money for quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? When the other artists, I mean, Nicki put out stuff, but Drake was very consistent. He learned from Wayne, kind of like how to do certain things with the songs, the music, and everything. He, like I said, he had the consistency. I mean, throughout the 2000s, if you didn't hear Wayne, you definitely heard Drake on a lot of stuff. And I think he learned from Wayne, like you said, how to put a record label together and how to help his artists out and everything. But also just him having that consistency. Because the thing is, yeah, you can make music, but if you're not consistent, no one's gonna really like catch on or be like, oh, yo, I like this artist and stuff like that. And the other thing is with Drake, I would say this pretty much understanding like, yo, you could be a big artist like I am. It wasn't like Wayne was like, yo, you gonna stay behind me type of thing. No, I
No, he
want to
said
see you
go. Just
grow and blow up and do great things. And even when he left Young Money and Cash Money and end up signing to Warner Brothers and putting out his own label, it showed you like, okay, Drake is doing his thing. Like he learned from Wayne, probably took some, keys or jewels of advice, and it worked. You know what
he
I'm
said he
saying?
got some good and bad though. He said
Right.
some of that shit was a little too salty.
Right. And I think that was great. The next person I would say is definitely Kendrick, because I never thought, because I said, man, Kendrick too lyrical. I never thought I would see Kendrick put out a record label. You know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, this man, this man gonna stay signed to TDE forever. You know what I'm saying? The aftermath. But I gotta say, Kendrick was smart for staying signed to Dre. I think there's still some more lessons he needs to learn from Dr. Dre. Not to say that he's not learning on his own time, but it shows you that he probably realized, like, yo, I could put out a label with my people, you know what I'm saying, and that I want to sign. And I think with him working with Dre, he kind of understood Dre and kind of like the process on how he wanted them to do albums and stuff. I'm sure like when Kendrick comes out with stuff like, give you an example, To Pimp a Butterfly, that was Kendrick's most controversial album. And it was crazy because a lot of people did not want that album to come out. It was like, what?
What, really?
It was crazy. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. So the thing was, Jay-Z was the reason for that. Jay-Z said, yo, man, I like the album. Man, you need to go on and drop it. And I'm like, yo, props to Jay-Z for like saying, yo, go on and put the album out. Cause I'm like, yeah, people need to hear this. You know what I'm saying?
Why didn't they want this album to come out? What I
I
mean,
think because it was more dealing with Black history, you know what I'm saying? Institutionalization, Black love, self-love,
for real
all
shit, it
those.
wasn't no shoot 'em up, bang bang, pew pew shit. So
That's probably what it was. Right,
no
right,
ass
right.
shit.
And I think that was probably at that time, because I know, like I said, Mr. Morale was another risky album. That was very risky, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, after he came out with To Pimp a Butterfly, he came out with Untitled, and wow, man, that was kind of like pretty much maybe leftover trash from To Pimp a Butterfly. But yeah, I think Dre definitely groomed him well. Not necessarily groomed him, but showed him what it's like to be an artist and kind of learn what you could do to make your music better and have a message with it. Because Dre believed in him. There's a lot of people don't know. Session 80 was his first independent album. Kendrick's. It didn't sell well. It did well over the years.
Right, right.
But like when he would go on, to places on tour for it, there was barely anybody there. I think even in my state, I was like, that's crazy. But Dre believed
That was his first like major. Section 80 was the one that like brought
that was
us
his
him
first.
and Dre as a combo, right? Or no?
Well, this is before. This was TDE. That was just TDE.
Okay,
I
okay.
think he was about to sign to Dre after that
After
album.
that, okay.
Yeah, so I was like, that's crazy that Dre believed in, like, yo, even though it's not working out, hey, don't worry, you're gonna get better and people are gonna, check you out eventually.
This is something that I think is a tangent, but you bring up a good point. Though. Section 80 is so critically acclaimed. I mean, people love Good Kid, Mad City.
Right.
Section 80, a lot of people reference Section 80 as the one, right? That's a line of TDE. Good Kid, Mad City is TDE, and Dre comes in. Man, shout out to my man, Chop It Up. A lot of times people don't give a shit about the song or the project unless it's attached to someone, right? So again, Good Kids, Mad City has got Dre attached. We get fully introduced to Kendrick. If Dre had been attached to Section 80, would it be the more of a classic? Would it have gotten the commercial acclaim that Good Kid, Mad City gets? You know what I mean? Just curious from that angle.
That's a good one, Bum. I think it could have. I definitely think that could have happened, like you said, due to the fact that it's Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying? He's a producer. We know he's a kind of a perfectionist, of course. Definitely, man. I definitely could see if he was a part of it, it probably would have lined up a little bit better. But it's great that it's selling really well now,
right?
Despite having the hardships that he had to deal with. Great. And the last one would definitely be J. Cole. J. Cole did learn from Jay. I gotta give it to him.
Okay.
When it came to pretty much like a lot of people don't know, J. Cole had a record label before signing to Jay-Z. So he already had Dreamville. So it was kind of like you already knew J.
Oh.
Cole was gonna eventually branch off and kind of do something where he had his own record label. But he needed Rock Nation to kind of be like the brand to kind of put him out there on the charts type of thing. So
Oh.
yeah. So I think the thing with J. Cole, he was clever with it. He realized, like, well, yeah, J. Cole, I look up to him, I idolize him and everything. But I need someone to kind of give me the business aspect of how to have a successful label, also how to brand myself a bit more so people can check me out. And it really worked. I mean, Dreamville is a solid label. I mean, not to knock Drake either. Drake has a solid label too, to be honest.
Nah, yeah, but it ain't it.
Yeah,
Drake's
it ain't.
solid label is a result of Drake and his
Yeah,
consistency. Now that
right.
you, bro,
Yeah.
yeah,
And J. Cole's label is more like a family. It's like a family environment. Like Jid's kind of like a mixture of, you know what I'm saying?
right,
J.
but you got
Cole and
Jen, you got Boss, you got
Bob.
cousin or Cuzzo. There's
Yeah,
there's
Bob. You got Luch. You got
yes.
Ariana Lennox. Yeah, man. Earth Gang,
See
so
now
it's like,
I
hmm
almost want to like say that J. Cole did as well or better than Drake.
okay.
No, not better, not better. But I'm
Okay.
definitely gonna raise the bar a little bit. I'm gonna give a lot more to Drake or to Cole
Okay.
because he actually did emulate as much as he played it off, and now I see why he played it off because he actually emulated the business and the
Yeah.
hustle aspect of it. He was
Correct.
knowing that he was running Dreamville before the come up, and then aligned it with yeah.
Yeah.
That changes things, man. Shout out to
Yeah.
you for that esoteric knowledge, man. Yo,
You're
motherfucking
welcome,
blood,
man.
y'all.
Yeah,
Oh,
man. Yeah, it's dope because Dreamville, you start to see them more. You know what I'm saying? Like you would see them on the album. The only person that was kind of like early on with Dreamville was Omen. Omen was the rapper that he met online. And he's kind of like, and I hate to say this because each rapper has a, you know what I'm saying, I guess you could say not necessarily a duty, but just a lane that they're in on the label. And
right,
we've seen it before. He was kind of like the guy that had the potential, but he never did like fully put it out there.
right.
But he believed in J. Cole that much that he stuck around. So he could have just been like, nah, man, I
Wow.
ain't about to, stick around. Ain't nothing moving. You know what I'm saying? I don't see the label fully out there. He could have left. But no, he stuck around, helped J. Cole maybe build up the label and everything. That's probably why you don't hear much about him anymore.
Because he's
I
got
mean,
more of a inside logistic kind of thing going on.
yeah, maybe it's just
Wow.
that type of relationship. But yeah, Dreamville. And then the thing is with Dreamville, I really love the last Dreamville. And this is something I want to talk about. So it's gonna be another question though. I love that J. Cole works with the mainstream and the independent and underground artists. And, I think all three of them do that really well. So it's like, it's not like, okay, I'm just working with my mainstream counterparts. Forget indie, forget underground. It's like, nah, Dreamville, the last one that came out, he really did work with a lot of upcoming like Baby Rose. She's like
Yeah,
the Nina Simone of the new generation. He's worked with Big Crit, Rhapsody, just other names, and I think that's really good that they're open to that type of thing. All three of them I've seen so far.
yeah, I agree. It's funny, man. You keep hitting some. That's why I love these conversations. I
Yeah.
go through and I start making notes of things I want to bring up, and you hit them
Okay.
well for me. So I think that's fucking dope.
All
So
right.
to number one, I definitely agree because all three of these artists have found a way to keep the traditional or represent for the traditional aspect of hip hop within the mainstream. Something
Right.
else I want to point out though, shout out, I got the live going for the commission. Shout out to my man Boombox. Shout out to a cat, Stack Stilo. He said Dreamville is more of an artist label and OVO is more of a brand. And I think that's a
True.
very, very
True.
distinct difference.
Yeah.
And a good way for me to understand a little bit more why I would say J. Cole probably could almost edge Drake out now in terms of utilizing their mentorship, because he did not turn his thing into a brand. He really built the label that could be self-sufficient. So
that's like a that's like a family environment. Definitely, man. I feel even with Kendrick, even with TDE, it was like a family environment. And even Aftermath with well, I should say with the newer Aftermath, because at the time Kendrick not was the only new signee to Aftermath. After that came Anderson .Paak, then John Connor. It was unfortunate he wasn't able to stay, but you saw a new take on Aftermath. These new artists, they were super lyrical, super talented. I mean, Anderson .Paak can sing and rap too. John Connor's very lyrical. Kendrick's very lyrical. So Aftermath went in a new direction because they ended up becoming an Aftermath, an indie record label. Because Anderson .Paak let that out the bag. And when his interviews, he's like, "Oh, yes, an indie label." He's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said it." I'm like, "It's too late now." Yeah, so definitely, man. Yeah.
I would also say that these three artists, while I'm on this topic, they, while also having three very distinct sounds, because they don't sound like each other in any way. There's no way that they sound like each other. But they gave, for me, this era the ability to say we have rights to say we're a golden era. You know, from the time they came on up until now, you know, because everyone's going to have their own golden era. For right now, we love the 90s and whatnot, right? You ask someone that's 20 years older than us in their 50s, 60s, they say the 80s. There's an entire generation or two that are going to come up, and these guys are going to be the foundation of what they know. And we've talked a lot of shit about Drake. I've had a lot of fun at his expense, but I will admit, though, J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar have all been foundational in this golden era of hip hop.
Yeah, they definitely have. You see that with them as well. Like, I know with Travis Scott, he reminds me of Drake with all those different sounds and stuff. Corday, there used to be YB and Corday. You could tell that J. Cole influenced him.
And then he ends up hooking up with Dre. So now it's like,
Kendrick, you can see that with some of the artists too. So yeah, definitely, man. It's definitely they've all, well, I know Drake is mentioning that this is a new golden era for hip hop. And I'm pretty sure J. Cole did on one of his albums too as well. I'm not for sure if Kendrick has or not. I have to go back and
now we gotta research.
Yeah, but definitely, man. Yeah, it's different eras of hip hop with the golden era. Like, yeah, you got your 90s, maybe you got your 80s, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely, man. I definitely agree with you on that. It's like, yeah, they did influence it because, like I said, if you listen to, like I said, Corday, he's kind of like Kendrick, not Kendrick, but J. Cole.
J. Cole.
Yeah, and then if you listen to Jid, he's a mixture of J. Cole and Kendrick. So he's influenced by both of them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the artists, some of these artists admire these, you know, the artsy rappers are the ones that are super lyrical type of thing, or the ones that are just more singy rapper types. And that's not a bad thing either because it's been around for a while. I mean, we had Nate Dogg, we had Bone Thugs doing it. So it's like, well, it's been around for a while. So it's not necessarily like, hey, he created it and he's still in it. Like,
nah. Sing, you know, melodies and melodics and harmonies, that's not new to hip hop. It's not new to rap. I mean, it just, you know what it is? He's probably, when we're looking at Drake, he's one of the first of, like, besides LL or even 50 to, like, directly, like, I'm working at you, ladies, Ja Rule type shit, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, J. Cole does it too. He pulls the light skin shit with his bars. He out here getting soft with that shit. You know what I mean? Don't let him fool you.
Right.
So
yeah, so that's definitely interesting. My next question is, I gotta say this. Which era that you liked from the artist? Was it their beginning era or the era what they're currently in? When it came to music, when it came to features, we're gonna talk about features this time.
Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Okay.
Okay.
Features. Now, okay. So which era of features? I actually like, if we're gonna talk features, I like it when they're on their second comeback. So
Okay.
I Let Nas Down era for J. Cole, not just the song, but that whole
Born
era of
Center, yeah, Born
features.
Center J. Cole. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that whole, that the features he was putting out, the bars, he was like, I'm killing everybody. He's done it again like the last couple years. Like I don't even really care for Young Thug, but his features with Young Thug, the
Yeah.
London, a couple of
Fire.
joints, right? Um, ooh, the era for Drake. I don't think I have one. I'll be honest, I don't have one. I don't have a feature.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the only one I like when it comes to features is the one he does with the motto.
Okay.
I just like the energy off of that joint, but otherwise,
Okay.
and that's that. No, that was his joint.
Yeah, that was his joint.
Wayne
You're
was
right.
a feature, so yeah, I don't even got a feature for him.
Okay. So you just like that song with him, Andre, and Wayne together.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then when it comes to Kendrick, man, you know what, bro? He's not really a feature kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have an era where he pops up and is just like killing shit. You know what I mean? That I at least nothing that stands out to me. I know
stands out. Okay.
I know the mixtape era, Section 80 and Good Kid, Mad City. There's some dope collaboration going on.
Okay.
So I would have to give him that era, but I would say recently, or at least in the last 5. Oh, hold on.
Okay.
No, because the Black Hippie shit doesn't really count. That's not feature. That's collaboration with his group, right?
With his other people that's on his label. That's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
No, I don't know of anything where I'm appreciating the feature work from Kendrick. I think
What
J.
about
Cole edges everyone out.
What about the 2 Chainz? Mama hit a lick. Mama, I hit a lick.
I don't think I heard that. I need to go hear that. You know what, bro? When I heard Kendrick with Future and they did the Chitty Chitty Bang, I was like, yep, I'm not listening to no more fucking Future from Kendrick. I'm good. This nigga don't even know how to tell motherfuckers no.
Okay. So for me, I gotta say Kendrick first because I remember when Kendrick did features, and it's crazy, man. For me,
when was this? When was he doing? What era was this?
Like the era that I thought that was the most interesting was the Pimp a Butterfly Kendrick.
Okay.
So like when he did Trash, you kind of knew like, all right, he working with a lot of black artists. Like okay, here and there, a couple white artists here and there, but he was mainly working with black artists at that time. And I think his features, man, he always had like a different cadence. I think even before To Pimp a Butterfly, the Pusha T song. Oh my God, that song they did together was crazy. I was like, I listened to it like a couple months back, and I was like, "Yo, Kendrick killed Pusha on his own track."
What song is this? Let me. I'm gonna go look it up.
I think it's something Keys. It's probably Keys. It's something you know how Pusha T is. And I was like, oh, like he flipped the verse and he kind of talked about his life and everything. And I was like, yo, this is sick. Even though this was before, To Pimp a Butterfly era. But yeah, man, I want to say this is around Good Kid era, probably.
Okay, so it's still early, relatively early on. Okay. Yeah.
And then the other era I would have to say is probably Damn. Yeah. Yeah, the Damn era. Yeah. He has some stuff.
That unreleased shit was after Damn, right? Or was that after Pimp a Butterfly?
That was before.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That shit. Now those aren't features, but he was hungry with that. He was showing some flows and some yeah.
And the crazy thing about it, Bump, that wasn't completed. That was never completed. I was like, boy, he was on his Lil Wayne, boy. For real. Like this one, these weren't full songs at all. That's the wild thing about it.
Right.
And the last person I would have to say is J. Cole. J. Cole, he progressed. Okay. Like when he came out first with the feature era, like he had some of the bars weren't great. Like he did that song with Beyonce, the party remix. I'm like, like nah, Jacob. But I think over time he got better with features. To be honest, like I started to see like when he did songs with Moneybag Yo, you know what I'm saying, Wale, you know what I'm saying, Rhapsody, all these other artists. I'm like, yo, he is really. And then the most amazing one for me was the one he did with Jid. That song they did together. Oh my God, man.
J.Cole is a guy, and I think that's another reason why I put him first for my features is because, well, one, I hear more from him, but two, he has the ability to feature with anybody though, like almost like the game. Like the game can get on a track with anybody and really morph into whatever is needed, right?
Yeah.
And Cole gets busy. He will.
Yeah.
Like you can hear Cole with 21 Savage, Moneybag Yo, Kendrick Lamar. Like he, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Because he had that song with Anderson .Paak, and that was fire. I was like, dang. But it's like you said, he's able to work with other genres. Like he even had a K-pop song that came out like this year. I was like, wow, like J. Cole out here doing like J. Cole out here doing a little bit of everything, boy.
You must have picked that up from one of them basketball leagues he was in or some shit, man. The fuck.
Yeah, but I mean the feature fire though. I was like, well, you can't deny it. J. Cole gonna give you a fire feature now. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like I said, that's why I think that Kendrick Control verse did help, because it's like, all right, well now he's, you know, getting back into the bag and getting more lyrical. He's got all these crazy different deliveries and cadences, and you're like, yo, props to Kendrick.
Thank you, Kendrick.
Right. Thank you, Kendrick, for real. So yeah, I think it took some time for J. Cole for his to kind of like get that buzz with features, but he give you a feature. He putting his heart and soul into it, boy.
So,
yeah.
Speaking of heart and soul, here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Did these artists, or have these artists given us a classic album?
Woo. I would say yes.
Each one of them? All three of them have at least one classic album?
Yeah, I would say for Kendrick, man, it's a couple for Kendrick, it's a couple for J. Cole. Drake, it depends. You know what I'm saying? It depends.
Are we picking on Drake?
No, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing though, because the type of the style and how he puts out music is a little different. But definitely Kendrick, I would say To Pimp a Butterfly, was there Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and I would say Good Kid. I would put Damn in there too. I would put that in there too for a reason. But for the reason I say Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, because that album dealt with mental health. He talks about all his insecurities, the things he's done wrong. He was very vulnerable with that album. Like you saw a side of Kendrick that we never thought, because he's very like this mystical figure to hip hop, and you're like, well, who is he? You know what I'm saying? We don't know much about his family. We just know he has siblings. We hear about his sister. He has a mother and father, you know what I'm saying? But we don't hear he's married and got 2 kids now. So he's more private, but we saw a vulnerable side. Like his album cover showed his wife and his kids on there with him. I was like,
you wouldn't even have known that any of that was going on in his life.
Yeah, so he you know, kind of like put it out there like, hey, y'all, look, I'm married. I got 2 kids. This is my wife in the album cover. I was like, yo, Kendrick's going to give us a vulnerable album. When I saw the album cover, I automatically assumed that. And I love that he talked about mental health, because the thing is, it is a problem in society. So I love that Kendrick goes above and beyond when it comes to themes. He's not like, okay, I'm going to just stick to these themes of hip hop. That's it. No, he's going to talk about mental health. He's going to talk about the Black community. He may talk about his upbringing like he did on Good Kids. So you get the different elements of Kendrick throughout his life, you know.
I do like that Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, though some people would say, and I would definitely call it a classic.
Yeah.
I don't know that everyone would call it a classic. I definitely agree he's got more than one. But I like the fact that Mr. Morale is in a lot of ways an extension or a further in-depth exploration of what he started on To Pimp a Butterfly.
I agree with you on that. Definitely. I could definitely see that. Listening to that album over again this year,
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. And I love that his album I forgot, it's something dealing with rhythms and sounds. Like that's why it's called The Big Stepper. Someone did a video on YouTube crazily and they were talking about,
Oh,
so
no, okay. Well, I know that even like The Heart, several of his other joints, and that's something else that I think is important is especially with Kendrick, he's artistic to the level where he's giving you numerics and metaphors and coded messages that refer back to old shit. He's doing callbacks, Easter eggs. So you know, it wouldn't surprise me that there's rhythmic messages or sonic frequencies in these joints, especially in Mr. Morale. So but the other thing about that was Mr. Morale, like again, going back to Pimp a Butterfly, he was talking to the Black community as a whole and saying like, yo, here's a mirror. This is where we're hurting. This is where, and then he's like, all right, damn. Yeah. And then let me show you me. That's what I felt came out of Mr. Morale was he's giving us Pimp a Butterfly, but from his, like, let me show you what I was saying here. Let me give you another vision of what I'm saying. Like, I loved it.
Yeah. I guess you could say like a revision version of it, but more of a progressive and a more of a family themed album is what I got from Mr. Morale.
Yes.
Yeah, and
you said family theme, and then you got that fucking was the domestic violence was. So I was like, oh
shit. Yeah, so I think you're definitely right, man. Kendrick definitely does that, and what's name does that too. But he's so complex, people don't really pay attention to him. Lupe does that too with his music. I know with the last album he did, it was like, like Lupe out here, like pretty much sprinkling stuff in there. But you have to be a certain type of listener to kind of understand the concepts behind it. And I think a lot of people don't know that Kendrick has respect for Lupe Fiasco. So maybe he kind of took that idea and made it into his own unique thing, So
that's a hell of a point. Hell of a point.
Yeah, so definitely, man. And I think with J.Cole, I would say for me, Born Sinner was definitely a classic album. I think, I'll be honest with you, I love Sideline Story, but I could listen to Born Sinner more than Sideline Story, you know what I'm saying?
So that's got the replay value more for you?
Yeah, I think because he didn't have as much as creative freedom compared to Drake and Kendrick. I think they had a little bit more creative freedom, what they wanted to do with their music versus J. Cole. J. Cole at the time, he was kind of still under, Jay-Z didn't fully trust his creativity, so he couldn't just put out like what he really wanted to. He did touch on some touchy subjects on Sideline Story about his parents' relationship, abortion, and some other things too. So I did respect that. And even why he didn't want the Jay-Z co-sign too, I forgot to mention that too. And I think that was really good that, even though he wasn't able to put out quite what he wanted to, over time, it took some time for Jay-Z to truly trust him. And we saw that with, like you said, 2004, Forest Drive? I'm just say Forest Drive. Forest Drive, KOD, and then after that, the last album he did, we had Cameron and, these other cats on there and stuff too. We saw a different J. Cole because we finally saw, and I mean, not to say that they're not solo artists out here, because there are, but a mainstream solo artist doing a solo album, meaning that there are no features at all. Like he in the booth by himself, he may have a producer there every now and then, but he's solely doing the album. And to have #1 albums to do that, that's insane. I think J. Cole inspired Nas to come back and say, I can do a solo album. If he can do one, I'm pretty sure I can. What's going on, Jay? Oh man, just chopping it up, bro. Talking about hip hop.
Man, thank you, J. Cole, for giving us fucking like single albums again, like no feature albums. You know what I'm saying? That's
I think that's where J. Cole marked, because I think J. Cole realized, like, well, if I'm gonna do these solo albums, Jay said it's okay. The first one did well. Now I gotta do a couple more. I need to get more lyrical with this. I can't just, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got nobody singing the chorus. I may have background singers, that's it. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, it's just the producer every now and then, or him just producing and then recording. So yeah, definitely, man.
So they all got classic joints. Which
And
one is more? Which one
mhm.
has the more classic album for you? Then, like which that okay? That's corny. Which one stands out the most? Their body of work.
I would say J. Cole and Kendrick, and that's because they tend to stick to themes, whereas
Mm-hmm.
Drake does too. I'm not to take away from Drake because Drake does that with Take Care,
Mm-hmm.
and Nothing Was the Same, and a few of his other albums. But some of the songs were kind of like you got club songs, you know what I'm saying? So it's not as cohesive as it could be. But I mean, he does have some albums where you're like, okay, yeah, even Thank Me Later. I mean, it's like, wow, no, is it? Yeah, Thank Me Later. Thank Me Later was definitely, it got overlooked a lot. I don't think people really liked it because it was like a different type of album because they're like, we got the singing, rapping dude. Like, how's this gonna work? But with Take Care, it seemed like it was more of a cohesive album.
That's
Like,
what I was saying. Take
yeah,
Care came after Thank Me Later, and it
right,
it was much more of the cohesiveness you're talking about. So it
yeah,
flew Thank Me Later out because
right,
it started with that, and then he perfected it over there. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so I think with that, it showed you that it's like, okay, well, you tried with the first album, didn't quite sell well, but it was still successful. But it did show you like a look into Drake's life, like early on when he got signed to Cash Money, things he went through. His friend got stuck up at gunpoint, and kind of some
Mhm.
other things that took place. But it was like, okay, we get a chance to see why he is away. And also, I guess you could say the start of him having feelings for Rihanna because he does talk about her on fireworks. That's the with Alicia Keys.
The Rihanna saga.
Pretty much. Yeah, so it did touch on that. And then Take Care was like more had a different sound. You know what I'm saying? You had a nice amount of features. You had Andre 3000, Lil Wayne, Stevie Wonder playing a harmonica. You know what I'm saying? You got Kendrick on there. That was
He
the
was,
only track they've done together besides the
oh
one on Good
shit,
Kid.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's right. I
yeah,
forgot about that
yeah.
feature.
Yeah, so it was like, yo, the lineup is dope. He's got a nice amount of songs on there. But I think the other album that he did, Loverboy, that was pretty good. That was more lyrical Drake versus singing rap Drake.
Right. And I
Yeah,
think that part gets overlooked about that project
yeah,
too.
yeah. Yeah, because even Lupe gave it props. Lupe was like, yo, I love it. He's like, yo, man, this is what I wanted from
Well,
you.
Lil Baby trolling sometimes too, so I don't know how to feel. Like, are you for real, bro?
Yeah, he do.
He trolling, man.
But my
So,
man say, yeah, J. Cole does have dope solo albums. Yeah, man. Yeah, he definitely got other artists probably gonna end up trying that again, doing solo albums and stuff. So yeah, I
I'm
hope
glad.
like
I'm glad. I'm happy. Thank you, J. Cole. We've been thanking Kendrick, but thank you, J. Cole.
J. Cole, right?
Okay, so I want to ask because I mean we've talked about the way that they've impacted, right? These artists have all impacted hip hop, and they've done it
Right.
in their own different ways. And we've talked about how they've impacted. My question is,
Mm-hmm.
what is that impact going to look like? What do you think the impact looks like in the next 5 years? And or I guess what has changed now as a result of them being around for the last 10 years? And what do
Okay.
you think is coming next as a result
Um.
of their impact?
Okay. So for J. Cole, I would say pretty much. I mean, we got other guys that are lyrical like J. Cole. We got Jid, we got Corday, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's some other artists too as well that are super lyrical. And maybe they may eventually tap into like, yo, like J. Cole he did a solo album, no features. Maybe we can get lyrical sharp. Like I would love to see J. Cole artist Jid to do like a solo album with no features. Like I think he could do it. You just have to be in that right space to probably do it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I think we're gonna see more artists that are influenced by, like you said, J.Cole, Kendrick, and even Drake. We've seen that with Kendrick too as well. Like, I don't know if you know of an artist named Smino.
Yes.
Yeah, Smino has a
Out of St.
song
Louis.
about yeah, Smino has a song about Kendrick. And it's like that's dope. And you tell that maybe he's influenced by him. I know Saba mentioned it too on his last album. So there are artists that are influenced by these guys. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Drake. I'm pretty sure like I said, Travis Scott that's probably his biggest influence. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it. Yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty sure there are other artists are gonna eventually make it their own sound, but learn from what they did to kind of craft it and make it into their own unique thing. Yeah.
I love that. All right. See, that's what I love about this conversation, bro, because it got me
Right.
thinking of what they've done, but then it's like, yo, what are we going to start to see as a result? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think definitely because of all three of these artists showing their vulnerability, showing their emotions. Like, J.
Yeah.
Cole has an entire song dedicated to a loved one's child, or a
Yeah.
project, right? For Your Eyes Only, right? And
Right.
that level of vulnerability is
Ability.
something that we haven't really gotten
Mm-hmm.
a lot of. Like Tupac gave it to us.
Yeah,
We
Tupac
haven't
did. Yeah,
gotten it
definitely.
since. And then we were starting to get it with Extentacion.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have to feel like he was influenced in some ways by the emergence of the J. Coles and the Kendricks. And
Probably
then
so, yeah.
and then vice versa, he started influencing them. So we lose
Right.
him too early, but they keep going. So
Yeah.
I definitely would say like that is one of the bigger impacts that we're seeing is we're getting more autobiographical, more
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah.
I do need motherfuckers to stop being so goddamn sad. We can't be fucking. No knock on anybody that's dealing with depression and mental
Yeah. Right.
irregularities, but like, damn,
Yeah.
bro, not if it's that bad, bro. Stop smoking, stop sipping something. Like, go meditate or something. Get outside.
Yeah. Go meditate. Go get some sun. Yeah, I feel you on that, man.
I just don't. I don't need sad bars every time, man. Rod Wave.
And he makes some vibing music though. I ain't gonna lie. Oh man. But I will say this, that you brought up the vulnerability part. We did see that with Good Kid, Mad City. Remember when the song, I forgot what song it was, but there was a part where Kendrick Lamar got jumped. His mother, like, where are you at? You know, the
Mm-hmm.
voicemail thing. So we do start to see a more vulnerable Kendrick on Good Kid because he's kind of exposed and also getting set up by a girl and everything. So you kind of see like, okay, he's giving us a story. We
Yes.
getting like betrayal, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting jumped, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, yo, this is different. Like, I never would have thought, like, hey, he put this on the album. And the same thing with Drake, too, as well. We saw that how he really felt about Rihanna. Like, he really, at some point, he really loved her. He wanted to marry her at some point. He mentioned that quite a bit in some of his songs. But then the last song, I guess, like when he found out that she was messing around with A$AP Rocky, he was like, you talking to him? I'm better than him. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like he
are
had
you?
that,
But
yeah,
are you?
right. So you could tell. And then the reason why he was vulnerable about that track that was on Loverboy, he mentions that he's messed around with some of the fans. He said, "Yo, like, I'm guilty. I've done it." You know what I'm saying? Like he ain't out here like, "No, I ain't messing with other fans." You know. And the same thing with Kendrick on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers messing around with that girl overseas, coming back home to the girl that he's gonna end up marrying and having kids with. I'm like, yo, that's vulnerable, man. Like, just imagine the conversation that went down because his wife. One thing I can say about Kendrick that I never knew until like really getting into more of Kendrick was more that the girl that he ends up being his wife, they've been friends for quite a while. Like
Mm-hmm.
they've been friends since high school, and a lot of people don't know she was singing on "To Pimp a Butterfly."
Yeah.
She was at the very beginning of Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. She wasn't on Good Kid. She might have been on some of his mixtapes. I don't know. You know what
Just
I'm
been
saying?
sprinkled all around and nobody's ever known. Like that.
Yeah,
That goes back to the mystique. If there's any
yeah,
artist that's been able to maintain their mystique,
yeah,
it's been Kendrick. Like,
Yeah.
well, J. Cole has it, but he goes in a different approach, right? Kendrick
Yeah.
has been more like you have no clue what's coming next, and when I do give you a note, you're overthinking it. Like it's just
Right.
my head hurts.
Right.
But I wanted to ask, which one of these artists have given you the most earworms?
What do you mean by that? Just the most jewels?
Yeah, no, the ones that the most bops that stick in your head. You know, Kiki, do you love me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I pick on Drake again, but I'm just saying, like, you know, respect my mind, and you know what I mean. Every one of them has like that sort of like earworm that sticks with you. But which one has the most for you so far?
Man, I think each of them got one. I think for Drake, started from the bottom. You know, started from the
Ooh.
bottom while we here. You know what I'm saying? Non-stop. I love that from Drake. You know what I'm saying? He's got some
The
what is the
motto is
other one?
one.
Yeah. You Can Thank Me Now. That was on the first album. You know what I'm saying? With Kendrick, DNA. Woo, DNA. New World Order. I love that song.
Yeah.
What is the other one? The one he did with Kodak Black. Silent Hill.
That's on the new one, right?
Yeah. Is it Silent Hill?
Yes, Silent Hill.
Yeah, Silent Hill.
Silent Hill's hard.
Yeah, man. With J. Cole, Dollar in a Dream, Training Day.
See,
yeah.
Okay.
ATM, count it up.
So these cats are Bop City then. Like these are.
Yeah, they have some bops, man. They definitely do, man. There's other ones too. Cause like
I mean, but like in just asking that question, you name off like 5 for each artist. So you know what I mean? Like, hey, okay, motherfuckers are certified with that. Who wrote it is a different story. No, just
yeah. Yeah, that's true, man. They definitely had their own bops, man, for sure. My next question, man, I want to ask you is, which discography do you think is gonna go diamond out of this generation, or do you think the other artists are gonna eventually go diamond? I know one of them right now. I don't want to say, but I'll let you decide.
Oh man, that's a good question. I think they're all eventually gonna go diamond.
Okay.
And I say that because they all have really, really rabid fan bases that will share their music with not only their friends but their family, their children. They're gonna keep these artists alive in their traditions.
Right.
I think the one that's most likely to get there first is Drake. I just think Drake.
Yep, you're right.
I know I pick on him a lot because it's a fun topic. I like making people laugh, but the reality is, from a business angle, from a honest, transparent view of the culture and the setup, Drake is everywhere. He is an international superstar. So going diamond for him is just a matter of another couple years, right? Like the reality is, like, if he hasn't made diamond in about 5 years, it's like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. His ticket's there. It's just a matter of, all right, you've hit the benchmark to now get there. That diamond is coming.
Right.
The next one after that, that's the tough one.
Okay.
The easiest one would be Kendrick, but I actually think Cole will go diamond before Kendrick does.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because Cole's more consistent when it comes to, like, you have less of a gap between projects.
Okay, I agree with you on that.
Kendrick does have a very strong, rabid fan base, but I don't think it's as. There are people that when I canvass the regular folks around me, there are more people that fuck with Cole than Kendrick.
That's
and
true.
Those that do fuck with Kendrick, they like him in bits and pieces, bursts. So there's not enough of a universal love for Kendrick that's gonna match Cole. That you like, he'll get there, but is he gonna get there before Cole? No.
Do you think it's because he's biracial, or is it more of just the music itself?
It's the music, it's the
Okay.
energy in the music, it's
Okay.
the if I'm gonna be dead ass honest, it's
Mm-hmm.
because Cole has more fun about it, even though he's talking to you and
Yeah.
has serious topics. I mean, like you say, he's talking about abortion. He's talking about not being able to pay bills, not knowing if he's going to get through college, not knowing if he wasted his mom's time for
Right.
college. And Kendrick's talking about heavy shit too,
Yeah.
but it comes across a little heavier with Kendrick.
True. True.
So,
True. Yeah.
um, right or wrong, it just makes it a little bit more palatable when you're hearing it with a fun vibe or a fun tone. You know,
Yeah.
Kendrick's the preacher and J. Cole's the party promoter, but they're still giving you a very same message.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. I would definitely say Drake for sure. Like you said, he already has the popularity. On top of that, he has a lot of catchy records. I mean, Drake, he's definitely Wayne's protege when you really think about it. I was at the mall like a couple months back, and a lot of people didn't like the dance album that he put out, but hey, it's vibing at the mall. Like malls are playing it like I ain't never been to a mall where you've heard like J.Cole playing all the way through the mall, you know what I'm saying? Or Kendrick,
You can
So
hear J.
they're
Cole at Buckle, at Foot Locker, at Champs.
Myers.
You know,
So it's like he kind of set the tone. He took Wayne's formula. Wayne did it with rock music. Drake did it with dance music, Afro beats, you know what I'm saying? Grunge, UK sound, grime, rap. So it's like you said, he has a bigger fan base probably.
mhm.
And the thing is, he's open to like a bigger worldwideness to it compared to them. But yeah, man, I remember I said, damn, I was going in the mall. I said, damn, they playing all the Drake jams from the dance out. I'm like, God, dog, boy. I said, but it's smart because he's gonna, end up making money off of it in that way. Because
That's how he's going to end up diamond. That's how, like,
yeah,
Drake
yeah,
has music that can turn to music. If I'm riding in the elevator
right,
or going to the dentist's office, I'm going to hear
right.
Drake before
He,
I
he's
hear Kendrick.
he's kind of like Rick Ross. Rick Ross makes elevator music. He making more music. Man, so you said for yours, you said Kendrick, man. You said J. Cole. I can definitely, I don't know. I'm against you on this one. I disagree with you on this one.
Okay, okay,
I can see Kendrick kind of like being the next one to go diamond
okay.
because he was so oh, thanks, bro. Appreciate it, Cajun. The reason I say that is because people were really like, yo, when is he dropping the next album? And I remember the video. I don't know if you remember the video that came out. I think it was last year before the album came out. And these
Yes,
guys like, Kendrick, where's the album? Where's
yes.
the album? I was like, dang, this man can't live his life. Like he coming back. I mean, I get y'all missed him, right? But you knew like people were like really like looking for Kendrick. Like
Right.
Kendrick's been gone for a while, but we didn't know he was going through all these different things. So it's like the popularity grew, like the hunger for Kendrick's music, like you said, because he was gone for too long. And they're like, yo, what's going on? Like we getting like these sub tweets or tweets on Twitter talking about you leaving TDE and oh you're done with them. You're like, what's really going on? And then you're like confused, so you're wondering like, are we getting new music? Are you leaving?
Right.
We trying to figure this out, and you realize he is leaving TDE because he said this is the final album, and it really was. This was the introduction to him leaving TDE, but also putting out PG Lane that we kept seeing those little like mystical ads. I'm like, what is
Right.
PG Lane?
So
I was
do you think that's going to help the ascend to diamond for him eventually? Because you're saying
yeah,
Kendrick is going to make it diamond before Cole.
it could, because
Okay.
people like that mystiqueness about him. You know what I'm saying? So that definitely could work
This is
out. I
gonna
mean,
make them go run it up. They're like, wait, we don't know when the next one's coming out, so we eating this one. Okay, I like that.
and then the thing is, Soundwave confirmed that he worked on another album after Mr. Around the Big Stepper. So we may in fact get another Kendrick album. Yeah, Soundwave said it's coming. So
I didn't think what is it, 2030 already? What the fuck?
So I mean, Soundwave is the engineer still. So I mean, hey, it's got to be some truth. Maybe it's coming this year, maybe next year. J.Cole, I can see it too. I can definitely see it with J.Cole. J.Cole is definitely working with people from other genres, and some people may not know what J.Cole is. If you don't, if you listen to, like, prime example, K-pop music, I'm not a big fan. I listen to it because it does incorporate anime in it and stuff too.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan of it, but the collaboration that he did with the K-pop artist was dope. Like, it was in the talks for quite a while. They've been friends for a while, the artists that he collaborated with in that lane. So it seems like J. Cole is just branching himself out. Like, okay, well, you need a feature with me. Maybe he'll do a rock feature, maybe blues feature, whatever it is. And hey, that might, I mean, he did it with Benny the Butcher. He did it with an underground artist and had the kind of the best verse on there. You know what I'm saying?
J. Cole killing features, bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
so he's definitely probably gonna go diamond. Like I said, Drake is definitely the first. If Kendrick can get more people to jump onto the train, he'll probably be second, and then J. Cole.
J. Cole. Do you think they all have the option? Do you think it's possible for all of them, or do you think maybe Cole will get diamond?
Yeah, I think they all can go diamond.
Okay.
Whether it's a feature or a single, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so and I got to get ready to run.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you. This is my last question I had.
Okay. Okay.
Social media.
Okay.
We live in an age of social media, obviously.
Right.
I mean, it's almost to the point where if you're not online, you don't even count as an artist. So, hypothetically, if all social media goes away, Twitter, Instagram, all these other ones, all the alphabets go away, which one of these artists could still stay relevant?
Wow, that's a good one, Bump. Man. Woo, that's a good question. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me see. I could definitely see J. Cole. I would say J. Cole, man.
So I'm gonna. J. Cole is my runner-up. Drake is the most.
Drake.
I've even. The reason I say this is because if the shit goes away,
right,
he's the only one that's had the most cultural impact on social media. Memes, the whole nine, to where the shit's already been here, and then we lose it. He's already ingrained in the hip hop consciousness. Like, you just know. I'm not saying that the other two aren't, but there are children at 5 years old that know who Drake is before they know Kendrick or J. Cole. So
that's true, right? That's true.
Yeah, I agree. Like, the other one would be Cole.
I can see Drake too, though. I can definitely see Drake as well. Like you said, yeah, definitely. Because like a lot of people know the songs from Drake, whether it's kids, and then he has dance songs. Kids know the dance songs.
And he's been on TV. He's got movies. He's got shows. Kendrick has got his. This is where the mystique of Kendrick would work against him.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Well, guys, this is your boy Illblurmatic and Bump Jonas, guys. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for rocking with us. And until next time, Bump, have a great Saturday or Sunday, wherever you at, guys. And I am out.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Salute.
No problem.
Peace.
Yeah, salute, man. Thanks. I'm out.